So what is something that brings you joy?
Driving with music that I love and discovering new music. Going down music rabbit holes.
Who is your hero?
I would say myself, inspired by the traits of other people, like my mom, like Maya Angelou, like Jesus, the Buddha. There's so many teachers. But ultimately, I'm the one who has had to save myself, and a hero is someone that saves you. So my higher self, I guess.
What was your greatest heartbreak?
I've had a lot of men break my heart, but I think the greatest heartbreak was when the women I trusted blindly betrayed me. There's something about women breaking your heart that feels very different than a man. I guess naively I thought they weren't supposed to. That your female friends were the people that you could actually trust in this world. But you know, we're all human and we all have our shadow side and we all make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes come at the cost of somebody else's heart.
What is your biggest battle right now?
Trusting myself to do the right thing for myself. To step into an adult version of myself that thinks more about long-term benefits than instant gratification. The younger version of myself has been very strong for a very long time in me. Yeah, just building that trust with me having my best interest at heart, which I do, but also acting upon that and making choices that honor that, because I've broken my own trust many times.
Do you think your parents did a good job raising you?
Well, my dad didn't at all. He abandoned us, so no, because there wasn't any raising. My mom, it took me a very long time to humanize her. I thought she was awful, but the more my heart heals and opens, the more I can see her more clearly. And she did the best that she could, being a single mom who had a lot of unhealed trauma. So yes, could I have used more emotional connection? Could I have used more relationship? Could I have used being seen by her? Absolutely. But she's the one person in this world who never abandoned me, who has always had my back in the best way that she knew how. But you know, there's been moments where I thought that I wouldn't have anyone if I didn't have you, if I didn't have her, because I can count on her unconditionally. Even in the messiness of our defects and our shadow sides, and you know, the way our trauma exposes itself has created a lot of conflict through the years. But at the end of the day, I'm who I am because of the hard work that she put into raising me and sacrificing her entire existence for me, really.
What words were said to you in life that cut the deepest?
I think when I was young, like a kid, I'm just realizing that that might have impacted me now. I developed quite quickly when I was little. So there was a lot of judgment, a lot of name calling, a lot of slut shaming, even though I wasn't, just because I looked more developed. I'm just realizing the impact that that had on my relationship to my femininity, my sexuality, and myself. But also, as I got older and my mom and I started becoming more, there was more conflict between us, and she started losing control when I was a teenager. I think some of the things she said to me have been the hardest to overcome, but also shed as a narrative of myself. Like, you're disgusting, right? Yeah, body shame, etc., etc.
What is something you wish people understood about you?
Oh, that's a good one, because I'm misunderstood a lot. That my intentions are always pure. Don't project your shitty intentions onto me. And that happens a lot. Like, I say things sometimes without thinking, or I'll offer something, or I'll make a joke. And people tend to project the intention with which they would be saying it onto me. But if you were inside of me, you would realize that there is never a darker or sideways or covert intention behind anything I do or anything I say. I'm messy and I do things and I learn the hard way and I say things and put my foot in my mouth a lot, you know, but my heart is as pure as I can possibly have it. And there's a naivety to the way that I exist in this world that I don't really want to change because it's attached to the purity of my heart. But I get misunderstood a lot because of that. People project their own heart onto me.
What is something you feel shame around?
Shame's not one of those things that I'm too attached to. Guilt is stronger for me. I think if I was to answer anything is how certain life lessons have taken me a bit longer than the average person. And maybe at this stage of my life I should have figured out A, B, or C. But I taught myself everything I know, and so it's taken a few falls for me to learn certain things. And I try not to judge myself based on how old I am and where I'm supposed to be. But sometimes I think, I should have known that a lot sooner. I should be married, or I should have had a family like everybody else. But then I realized the absurdity of that timeline that God knows who created for 7 million people to follow. It makes no sense.
Have you found yourself in a crossroads in your life, and how did the decision you make impact your life?
I think now I am. Yeah, the crossroad was stay in Vancouver, where I have been for almost 23 years, with the things that I know, even though I'm fighting for my soul to stay bright every day here. And I do everything I can to keep it, including talking to strangers while I walk my dog and trying to make people smile and make people laugh as I walk down the street. It lights me up seeing them light up. Or take a huge risk and try and go somewhere where the environment naturally is created or built in a way that matches my soul better. And because I moved here when I was 18 by myself and I was in survival mode for so long, I was always afraid to move away again on my own. But I knew in this moment in time that I was at another crossroads where I either go or stay. And how did I solve it? By surrendering to the universe. I told the universe with all my being, I said, you show me, because I don't know what path to take. Like fully willing to listen, full surrender. And the answer came really quickly after that. So I listened because I honored my part of the agreement.
How do you measure success?
How I not measure it first is the rat race. That is actually killing us. So success to me is a life lived in as much freedom as you can possibly tap into within a system that takes it away. Meaning, follow what lights you up, follow your bliss. As Joseph Campbell says, the hero's journey is about following your bliss. So it's the ups and downs of life, is learning from life, is becoming wise instead of acquiring more knowledge, is being loved and loving, is connection, it's presence, is beingness, versus the darkness of the obsession with productivity and distraction and addiction and isolation for the accumulation of things that don't matter.
What is one dream you're scared to say out loud?
Maybe that I want a partner. Yeah, and family. Not necessarily my own children, but maybe that I want to belong to the feeling of family, which hasn't been very present in my life. I've taken pride in the lone wolf, I've taken pride in the hyper-independence, I've taken pride in the warrior archetype that I embody so strongly, and it's helped me get through, but it would be nice to have someone say, I got you.
If you were to die tomorrow, would you have any regrets?
That I didn't value my mom sooner. That I wasted so many years battling with the one person on this planet that loves me unconditionally, even though the way that she loves didn't resonate as love with me. I wish I had, and there's nothing, you heal when you heal, and God knows I worked my ass off on myself my whole life. But I wish I had more time to love her than whatever time is left.
What is your favorite trait in yourself?
Oh, I like this question because whenever this trait comes out, which is usually when I'm alone, I always think whatever partner I end up with, I want them to love this about me, which is the lens of beauty through which I see the world. I love that. I love that I can see the magic and the beauty and all the little things. Yeah.
What's a belief you hold that many people may disagree with?
My feminism is healing the men. You heal the men, you heal the world. And that patriarchy has impacted them as deeply as it has impacted us. And when you dehumanize a little boy, you get the violence that you get as an outcome. And if you let men start to be human again, there's no need for them to hurt anyone else.
What are you holding on to that's holding you back?
It's a conundrum though, because I love life, but also the fear of living. I find this a very common one when we live in a society that has removed us from connecting to life, more to machine. But there's a fear of building a relationship with life and all the risk and all the heartache and all the pain that comes from it. And I'm slowly getting there. Moving to Mexico is one of the ways that I'm choosing to step into that space. Here in Vancouver, it's really easy to stay sheltered in a cave and everything's delivered to you, and TV and Netflix and, you know, DoorDash and well, it's raining. Yeah, just stepping out into the world and like falling in love and traveling and just being in the world, and then the loss that comes from loving, I think, which is the epitome of living. Yeah, that.
What makes your soul feel most alive?
I would say animals. They are the thing that I've connected to the most deeply on this planet since I was a little kid. Laughter, swimming, and good music. Yeah.